The dark web, a place shrouded in mystery, filled with whispers of illegal trades, forbidden secrets, and unspeakable horrors. But the most chilling rumor? Hitmen-for-hire, a place where, for the right price, you can have someone erased permanently. But here's the question: is it real? Or is it just a carefully woven web of deception, designed to prey on those desperate enough to believe it? Tonight, we pull back the curtain. We expose the biggest scam on the dark web. And by the end of this story, you'll realize the true target was never the person they were hired to kill. It was always the one who made the request. This is the terrifying truth of the dark web hitman scandals. And it starts with a man named David Lorne. Just an ordinary guy, or so it seemed. David had a problem that was ruining his life. His wife, Emily. To the outside world, they were the perfect couple, smiling in photos, attending dinner parties, even running a small business together. But behind closed doors, it was a different story. David was drowning in debt. And Emily, she was on the verge of leaving him, taking everything he had left: his house, his savings, his future. Desperate, David made a choice. A dark, irreversible choice. One night, after a few too many drinks, he stumbled upon something online. A forum. A hidden place in the depths of the dark web. A place where you could hire a hitman for the right price. David had heard the stories before. Anonymous killers lurking in the digital shadows, waiting for their next assignment. It felt unreal, like something out of a movie. But as he scrolled through the site, looking at the services being offered, assassinations, kidnappings, even fake accidents, he realized this was very, very real. With shaking hands, he filled out the request. The target, Emily Lorne. He paid in Bitcoin, $20,000, and then he waited. Days passed, then a week, no confirmation, no update. Then, one night, he got an email. Your request has been received. Await further instructions. A wave of relief washed over him. It was happening. Soon, Emily would be gone, and his problems solved. But that relief, it didn't last long, because the next message came at exactly 3 a.m. the following night. I see you. David's blood ran cold. Was it a joke? A sick prank? He typed back. What do you mean? A reply came instantly. I see you, David. His heart pounded. Was someone watching him? He rushed to his window, peering into the dark street below. Nothing. No cars, no people, just the silence of the night. Maybe it was just part of the process. Maybe the hitman was just messing with him. But then, a knock at the door. A slow, deliberate knock. David froze. It was past midnight. Who would be at his door? His phone buzzed. A new email. Open the door, David. His breath caught in his throat. He looked through the peephole. Nothing, just darkness. His fingers hovered over the doorknob. He hesitated. Then, another knock, louder this time. He spun around, grabbing the nearest thing he could use as a weapon, a kitchen knife. His phone buzzed again. Nice knife. David's heart nearly stopped. Someone was watching him, inside his house. He ran, searching every room, every corner, but there was no one. Then he saw it. His laptop, the webcam light, was on. They'd been watching him the whole time. He grabbed the laptop and yanked the power cord out. But the emails kept coming. We told you, hiring a hitman is never what it seems. You think you control the deal, but really, you're the target. His blood turned to ice. He had been played. His phone buzzed one last time. Check your bank account. Shaking, he opened his banking app. His entire life savings, gone. Every last dollar, drained. And then, a final email, a picture attached. It was him, sitting at his desk. Right now. The caption? Goodbye, David. The lights in his house flickered. His phone screen went black. Then, a whisper right behind him. Never trust a hitman. The screen fades to black. A scream echoes. Here's the truth about dark web hitmen. They don't exist. At least, not the way you think. Most hitman-for-hire sites? Scams. They take your money. They steal your information. And sometimes, they turn you into the target. David Lorne isn't the only one who fell for it. Many have. Some have lost money. Others, their lives. So if you ever find yourself in the darker corners of the web, looking for something sinister, remember this. You might think you're the hunter, but on the dark web, you are always the prey. James Mercer was a man with everything to lose. A corporate executive with a high-paying job, a luxurious home, and a seemingly perfect life. But there was one problem. His business partner, Daniel Cole. For years, they had built an empire together. But greed is a terrible thing. James had been stealing from the company, shifting money into offshore accounts, covering his tracks with meticulous precision, until Daniel started asking questions. James knew that if Daniel uncovered the truth, it would be over. He'd lose his fortune, his reputation, his freedom. So, in the dead of night, he did what he thought was the only option left. He went online, and he found them. The men who could make problems disappear. James wasn't naive. He knew there were scams out there, but this site, it looked professional. It had testimonials, an encrypted chat service, even a rating system for different contractors. One name stood out: Shadow Reaper, a supposed ex-military specialist with over 50 successful assignments. James took the bait. He wired $30,000 in Bitcoin and sent Shadow Reaper the details. The target? Daniel Cole. The instructions were simple. Make it look like an accident. The first message came that night. Understood. Payment received. You will hear from me soon. James felt a sick kind of relief. The problem would be gone. Life would go back to normal. But then, something changed. 2 days later, another message arrived. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be hunted, James? His stomach twisted. He typed back. What does that mean? Just do the job. No response. The next night he received a package at his doorstep. No return address. Inside, a single black and white photo. It was him, taken from outside his office. The caption, "You're next." James panicked. He tried to contact Shadow Reaper. No reply. Then his phone rang. A blocked number. He answered. Silence. Then a distorted voice. "You hired a killer, James. Did you really think you could trust one?" Click. His blood ran cold. This wasn't just a scam. It was something much worse. His paranoia grew. He checked his security cameras obsessively. Every night he barely slept. Then a new email arrived. Check the news. With trembling hands, he opened his browser. A headline flashed across the screen. Businessman Daniel Cole found dead in apparent suicide. James's breath caught in his throat. He read further. Daniel had jumped from his penthouse balcony. Or at least, that's what the police believed. He felt sick. It had happened. The job was done. But then, why was he still receiving messages? Another email. You're welcome, James. But there's just one problem. We don't leave loose ends. His entire body went numb. He had been played. The hunter had become the prey. Another message. Run. James tried to escape. He bought a last-minute ticket, withdrew all the cash he could, and planned to disappear. But they were always one step ahead. At the airport, his phone buzzed. One last time. He hesitated before looking at the screen. It was a picture, a live feed, of himself, standing in that very airport. A message followed. You really thought you could run? Here's the truth about dark web hitmen. They don't exist. At least, not the way you think. Most hitman-for-hire sites, scams. They take your money, they steal your information, and sometimes they turn you into the target. James Mercer isn't the only one who fell for it. Many have. Some have lost money. Others, their lives. So if you ever find yourself in the darker corners of the web, looking for something sinister, remember this: you might think you're the hunter, but on the dark web, you are always the prey. Lucas Darnell had always been an easygoing guy. He was a graphic designer, a simple bachelor who lived alone in a modest apartment. No enemies, no drama, just a guy who kept to himself. But that all changed one night when he got an email. It was from his ex-girlfriend, Chloe. The email was simple enough. "I need your help. Something terrible has happened. I don't know who else to turn to." Chloe had always been dramatic, but this felt different. The subject line, "Urgent. They're watching me." Lucas didn't hesitate. He called her immediately. She told him about a man named Adrian Creel, a shady figure from her past who had begun stalking her. He was a former business partner who'd recently disappeared after being accused of money laundering. But now, he was back, and he was sending Chloe threatening messages. Lucas, feeling protective, agreed to meet Chloe the next day. But when he arrived at her apartment, it was empty. The door was ajar. Her phone was on the floor, no sign of Chloe, and on her desk, a single envelope. Inside, a piece of paper that read, "You can't protect her. She belongs to us now, and so do you." Lucas was terrified. He called the police, but when they arrived, they found nothing. No traces of Chloe, no clues. In a panic, Lucas turned to the only place he knew he could find answers: the dark web. He'd heard rumors of underground hitman services before, but now he wasn't just seeking help to protect Chloe. He needed to find her. The site he found was called the Silent Market, a place where you could get anything, or anyone, removed. After scrolling through the listings, Lucas found something disturbing. Find and retrieve. It promised to track and retrieve missing people. For a price, the website seemed clean, professional. It didn't scream scam. It looked legitimate. Lucas knew he had to act fast. He paid the fee, $10,000 in Bitcoin. The service was quick, efficient. The email he received was chilling but comforting at the same time. "Your request has been received. The search begins." The next day, Lucas received another email. "We found her." The message attached a single picture: Chloe in a dimly lit room, looking terrified. "She's alive," Lucas thought, relief flooding through him. But then another message appeared. "Come alone if you want her back. We'll send you the coordinates." Panic set in. Lucas didn't know what to do. Who were these people? Why were they targeting Chloe? And now him. The coordinates led him to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. Lucas arrived at the location, his heart racing. The place was eerily quiet. No sign of life, but just as he stepped out of his car, the sound of a phone buzzing in his pocket startled him. It was a text. "Welcome to the final stage." Lucas's heart sank. He followed the coordinates to a dark corner of the warehouse. There, in the corner of the room, was Chloe. Her hands were tied to a chair, her eyes wide in fear. But something was wrong. She was staring at him, silent, as if she wasn't surprised to see him. Before he could rush over, the phone in his hand buzzed again. "Turn around." Lucas froze. He slowly turned, dread creeping into his bones. Standing there in the shadows was a man. A tall figure dressed in black, his face obscured by a dark mask. "I am Mr. Black," the man said in a cold, emotionless voice. What do you want?" Lucas stammered. "The question is not what we want from you, Lucas. The question is, what do you want?" The man stepped forward, his hand reaching into his jacket pocket. He pulled out an envelope, handing it to Lucas. Inside was a single photograph of Lucas himself, in his apartment, sleeping. "You thought you hired us to find Chloe," Mr. Black said, his voice chilling. "But the truth is, we were hired to find you, to bring you here. This whole thing was a setup, a game." Lucas's mind reeled. A game? The reality hit him. There had never been a kidnapping. There had never been a threat from Adrian Creel. There had never been any real danger to Chloe. The silent market didn't just hunt people for money, it hunted them for fun. They manipulated people into paying, then they lured them into a trap. And Lucas had been the prey. The last thing Lucas heard was a faint click, followed by the sound of something heavy falling to the ground. Then the room fell into complete darkness. Here's the truth about the dark web. Not everything you see is what it seems. There are no guarantees. What you think are hitman services can turn into something far worse. The dark web isn't just a place for criminals. It's a place where manipulation and deception are taken to terrifying extremes. And the real danger is not in what you can buy, but in the power you hand over by trusting those who lurk in the shadows. For Lucas Darnell, trusting the wrong people led to his disappearance. His story is not unique. Hundreds, perhaps thousands, have fallen victim to the same game, scammed, tricked, and destroyed by the very services they thought would save them. So, if you ever think about venturing into that dark corner of the internet, remember one thing: you may think you're the one searching for answers. But in the world of the dark web, you are always the answer to someone else's twisted game. If you found this episode chilling, you're not alone. The dark web is full of twisted tales like this, stories that could leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the internet. But we're just getting started. Don't miss out on more spine-tingling investigations and shocking revelations. Make sure to hit that like button if you want more stories like this, and subscribe so you never miss another heart-stopping episode. Have you ever encountered something strange on the dark web? Or do you have your own terrifying story to share? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Remember, in this world, nothing is ever as it seems. Stay safe, stay alert, and as always, keep watching the shadows.